Welcome to the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast with intuitive lightworker, national speaker, metaphysical teacher, and best-selling author Lisa Kessler. What is it you want to manifest? Are you looking to increase your income, change careers? Maybe you want to manifest a new home or a new car. Are you ready to bring love into your life? You have come to the right place.
Hello, everyone. Can you believe we are getting close to the end of 2024? Time can fly sometimes. And I wanted to talk to you today about taking the unexpected journey when you're manifesting, because as we come to the end of the year, I like to go reflect over a lot of my clients' year to see, what happened, what did we do? And it's interesting because sometimes people are so busy trying to chase that next dream that they don't actually take the time to look back and reflect how far you've come. And I feel like that's really an important step and you shouldn't skip it. And I did a podcast, I think the last podcast was on, how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been? And today, this is a little bit different angle of that, but what happens when your manifesting takes you in a whole different direction than what you thought it would be? And I actually find this really inspiring. I have gotten some amazing emails from my clients this month who have been doing reflecting on figuring out, oh my gosh, this is what we actually manifested this year. And it's really fun to see how that happens. And in my own life, today, I received from the publisher a big box from Simon & Schuster that has my author copies of the Practical Tarot deck for the mass market edition from the publisher. And when I opened that box, it was this surreal feeling of, wow, I manifested this. It's surreal because I have published, I believe, 48 fiction novels, and I never would have dreamed to manifest a nonfiction publishing contract. It wasn't on my radar. I was a fiction author. But each year that I have been seriously taking my manifesting seriously, before I even became a manifesting coach, I started doing year ahead readings for myself and getting my mantra and coming up with what my theme will be for the year. And it's interesting now as I reflect back because I had a theme of freedom, and I finished writing all my books for my publisher contracts and went completely 100% indie publishing, which means I get to have all the control. And it also means that I am not a slave to deadlines set by other people. And I didn't know at the time that that was setting me up for doing this nonfiction contract and making my own tarot deck. And had I always dreamed about making my own tarot deck? Yes. But I'm not an artist. So I knew, or at least I thought I knew, I told myself, well, I can't do that because I can't draw. And as it all unfolded, I just kept getting this pull from the universe that it was time for a tarot book. I teach tarot for writers, and I've done it many, many times for writers all over the world because we do it on Zoom. And after one of my classes, somebody was saying, you should write a book about tarot for writers. And I thought, well, if I was going to write a tarot book, I would want to make it, bigger, like for everyone, not just writers, because I think it's such a valuable tool for you to use, especially when you're manifesting, because these unexpected journeys happen and you start second guessing and you start going, I don't know, is this what I'm supposed to do? And tarot cards can help get your ego out of the way so that you can pursue it. So I did a nonfiction proposal. My agent at the time had given me a framework to work from, so I made this nonfiction proposal. And before we started to shop it, my agent broke up with me because she said that she didn't know enough about nonfiction for tarot, and I wasn't writing fiction at that moment for a publisher, and she didn't make money off of my indie things, so she thought it was best we part ways. So I'm left with, wow, okay, I have this book proposal for a nonfiction book. I've lost my agent. What is even happening, right? So I could have just given up. And I did set aside the book for a little while. I shopped it, and there were 3 publishers very interested, but they didn't make an offer. So I kept writing fiction, but I kept thinking about that tarot book. And I reached out to my book cover artist, and I was like, gosh, Fiona, can you make me tarot cards if I tell you what I want on the card? And she said, well, that was a little out of her wheelhouse, but she knew an illustrator who was really great. So she introduced me to Holly Carton, who is fantastic. Can't recommend her enough. And when I talked to Holly, she understood my vision. She didn't know anything about tarot, but she was very excited to work with me on, making images that have symbolism and things in it. And so somehow I had manifested this artist, but I didn't have the money to pay her. Making 78 individual images is a lot of money, and I didn't have it. And so then I see my author friends doing Kickstarters for audiobooks and special editions of their books and things. And I thought, could I do a Kickstarter to make this deck real? And so Holly made me 5 images. She just trusted and had faith that the Kickstarter would go through. And you know what, guys? It didn't the first time. It almost funded, but not quite. And so again, I could have given up. You have these, when obstacles come up, you have the opportunity to either learn and grow and figure out how to overcome it, or to give up. And most people give up, but I am very stubborn. And I felt like this is what the universe wants me to do. I know it is. I feel it. So maybe the timing was off. So I waited and I put it back up again. The exact same thing, but I asked for even more money. What? It felt counterintuitive, but I felt like, well, when I did all the math, or my husband, because I don't do math, but he did the math, and he's like, you didn't really, if it barely funded, you didn't really have money for shipping in there. I'm like, what? So I did it for more money, and it funded the second time. And then as we're making this deck, it's turning out so beautiful that I thought, it's going to be sad that the deck won't be out there for anyone to get. I'm just going to ship these Kickstarters and it'll be over. And so I polished up that proposal, and I reached out to the 3 publishers who had been interested in the book and told them, what if the book now has a deck as well? And here is the artwork. And oh my gosh, 2 of them got right back in touch with me and were very interested. And finally, I met with Beyond Words, and that's all history. And now I have these decks that never would have existed sitting on my table. And that is the magic of manifesting. And it's because when you co-create with the universe, you aren't telling the universe what you want. I told the universe I wanted freedom from these fiction publishing contracts. I told the universe that maybe it's time for a tarot deck, and then in walks an artist, and then the Kickstarter. And then I went back to the publishers where it didn't work for the book and got a contract for the book and the deck. What? So if it had worked out the first time for me to get that book published, I never would have made these tarot decks that are sitting on my table. And I'm sharing this super long story. I hope it wasn't boring. But I'm sharing this story because I didn't give up. Even though I thought I was just going to do a tarot book, there are decks, concrete, real, I can hold them in my hand decks on the table that happened because I co-created it with the universe. My goal was not, I am going to make a tarot deck. My goal was, maybe it's time for me to write a tarot book. And then never, because the publishers didn't want it, I was doing this Kickstarter and I thought, well, I'll still finish the book that I started writing and I'll do tarot decks and I'll do it myself. And again, all of this happened because I continued to not give up. I found other ways to go around the issues and the hiccups that came along the way. And my clients this year, when we were looking over things, I'm going to use a couple as examples. So one of them, her big thing she wanted to manifest was to finish a fiction book that she had health issues, and so it got shelved. And we worked this year, and the interesting thing is, she actually reclaimed her health that had made the book go on hold. And she has been writing these, basically, a roundup for medical doctors, and they're actually getting her health together. She traveled to our Sedona retreat alone and didn't get sick. It was amazing. And she's planning a trip to Japan. These are all things that at the beginning of 2024 did not seem possible. And so whatever it is that you would like for 2025, leave it open-ended, because it's really easy to look at something and go, well, I didn't finish that book. Yeah, but you're going to Japan and you went to Sedona and you feel so good now. And, so don't pigeonhole yourself on something small, right? She thought these were chronic health conditions that would hold her back forever. So she decided, okay, well, since it's never going to get better, we're going to finish this book. But she was open, and the universe was like, nah, we're going to give you your life back. What? That's so much bigger than the book. So what I'm saying is, if you are willing to go on this journey to manifest your big dreams, make sure that your big dreams, that you release the how it should show up and when. I have no doubt she is going to finish that book. No doubt. Just like I pretty much thought, well, I'm going to do this tarot book on my own, then it is going to exist. I had no concept that it would turn into a tarot deck and a mass market edition from a publisher. What? So as you look ahead to 2025, look back on 2024 and figure out, what worked, what didn't, what did I manifest that I didn't expect? And then how can I make that grow in 2025? And this is where having a manifesting coach can be a huge help, because when I was going through all those hitches with the Practical Tarot deck and book, I wish I had had a coach. I probably would have done it much faster. But when you have someone on your team who is not part of the emotional connection that you have with your dream, it's much easier for someone else to look at it from outside looking in and go, well, have you tried this? Well, what about this? And maybe we should focus on this because all the good energy is there, and we'll get that other thing, right? And that's why having somebody in your corner can really help. And the other interesting thing is that when you have someone who is telling you, let's follow the bliss, right? Follow your heart. Here we go. Even though this isn't where we thought we were going, let's go. Let's follow that trail. It always, always leads to your highest good. I'm going to relate it to books because that's what I do. But when I'm writing a book and my characters take a hard right turn and I'm thinking, what is happening? That's not what's supposed to happen now. I always trust it because I have learned through all the books that I've published, it's always better. It always turns out better than what I had planned. So trust the universe, trust your intuition, and follow that path. Be bold in 2025. I've been doing these year ahead readings, and oh my gosh, 2025 is going to be a growth and expansion year. If you haven't signed up for your 2025 year ahead reading yet, don't wait, because these spots sell out every year and I stop doing them January 31st. So the link is down below in the show notes if you would like to do that. Also, I am doing a 30-day manifesting challenge on YouTube right now, and you can hop over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and get involved. We have a few people who have been going through the whole thing. This has been great. So come join us there. You can do it anytime, but it's just small things that you can do every day to inspire yourself for 2025. So come join us over there. It's totally free, and I would love for you to subscribe because I'm trying to manifest more subscribers to the channel. So I would appreciate it, and you'll have my gratitude. But most of all, I am sending you the best manifesting vibes for 2025. Think about ways you can grow and expand, because 2025 is going to be your year. I can feel it.
Thanks for listening to the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast with Lisa Kessler. If you have questions or comments, or if you'd like to work with Lisa to manifest your dreams, you can connect with her through her website at metaphysicalmanifesting.net. That's also where you can claim your free weekly tarot reading and manifesting tips. Make sure you subscribe or follow the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast on your favorite podcasting site so you never miss another episode. As Lisa likes to say, we can make magic when we bring the universe into the equation. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. If you'd like more information about Lisa, Metaphysical Manifestation Mentorship, or the Manifesting Magic Mastermind, visit her website at metaphysicalmanifesting.net.